Here's exactly how to create passive income as a mental health professional. Step 1. Invest a bunch of money in real estate that someone else manages, or in stocks, bonds, crypto, or other investments that will appreciate. Step number 2. Hope for the best. Live off the proceeds. The problem? If your goal is to have your investments make 10% in appreciation every year, then you need to have about 10 times the annual income you need already saved up in order for this strategy to work. If you want $10,000 per month in passive income, you're going to need about $1.2 million to get you started. That's not an option for mental health professionals, and it certainly wasn't an option when I started my company. So instead, this video is going to take a look at something that's much more realistic for a therapist who works in an industry that gives almost no opportunities to go beyond working an hour in order to bill an hour. You see, when I get calls from mental health professionals who say they are looking for ways to create passive income, I know they've already been poisoned by somebody who's looking to sell them what sounds like the opportunity of a lifetime, and is very likely that they will be left with an empty pot at the end of that rainbow. These folks throw around concepts like writing a book that goes bestseller, or creating an online course, painting a picture of a life where you will create your product once, then you're just going to sit back and let the sales roll in without you having to work for your money. There are two different truths when you're caught up in this type of thinking. The first is that like attracts like. The way you're thinking, intentionally or unintentionally, is how can I get something for nothing? I know that sounds harsh, but the validation is there when you look at the types of people you then start attracting to you, which is people who want to get you to pay them in exchange for not really giving you anything. The second truth is that the economics of most offers that tout passive income streams don't really work. If you do build a course or a community or anything that you sell in the $10 to $500 range, you have to market it. And there are only two ways to market something like that. The first is to already have a huge following of people who want to buy from you. The second is to invest in advertising. Now, you can build a huge following of people, but it will take years. And to build a following of people who'll actually buy what you sell, you must first be clear on what you're selling before you build this following. That's why it's not the best strategy. If you do choose to run ads, the cost of advertising right now means you'll probably make a loss on anything you're selling that is at a low price. For those who have a successful businesses, almost everything that they sell at a low price is followed by an offer that is at a higher price, and that's where the profit is. For the most part, the folks who are trying to persuade you using the passive income argument are selling you a pipe dream. But there is one kernel of truth at the center of it that you can definitely use to make more money, cut your clinical hours, and get much more control over your schedule. And that is that there are service offerings you can create that will increase your income and decrease your clinical hours and get you out of trading all your time for money. A more accurate way to describe these kinds of service offerings is leveraged income. Leveraged income is different to passive income because it uses your talents and still fulfills the purpose God put you on this planet for, which is to actually deliver something that really does help a lot of other people improve their lives. Leveraged income is more honest because you're going to provide an excellent service with super intensive support where you know all your clients and you're making sure that everyone is receiving everything that you have to give them. You're just doing it in a way that pays you better and gives you more time flexibility and freedom so you can spend time doing other things that you enjoy. Let me show you how it works. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to choose a niche. Then you're going to figure out a major problem that the people in this niche are trying to resolve, one that carries a very high value to them. An example could be someone whose marriage is failing, a parent whose kid is off the rails, or you could sell business mentorship to other people in your industry to help them to be as successful as you are right now. Then you're going to create a program that's specifically tailored towards solving that problem. And here's the most important point about this. You're not going to see everyone individually for an hour a week and completely fill your schedule with one-to-one meetings. This limits the number of clients you can have and forces you to work all the time. You're going to use a group model that has you giving support to your entire group for 1 to 3 hours each day, but gives your group a program where they can access your daily support. This is a true win for you and your clients because you get the time flexibility you want in your life while they get a container that is much more intense for them than 1 hour a week of therapy. So if you really do want to make more money as a mental health professional, focus on how you can use your skills and talents to create leveraged income. Start by how you can teach what you know in a way that benefits more people while giving them a lot of support to implement your ideas and build a business around that. Don't start by trying to figure out how you can magically flip from living paycheck to paycheck to sitting on the beach and sipping cocktails. That is a dog whistle for scammers. Your energy matches the scammer's energy because both of you are trying to figure out ways to have an easy life without any inputs, and you will get taken every single time. Instead, figure out how you can help more people get what they want and what model you can use to serve them well that doesn't involve you spending an hour a week with each of them individually. My client, let's call him Dave, was a psychologist who focused on parents of kids who are behaving badly. He was seeing parents once a week, every week, and charging them $150 an hour. It took him 8 weeks to teach his method, and then he would support the parents for as long as it took for each of them to get his method right inside of their home. Each week they'd meet, discuss how the last week went, and how they could address difficult behaviors going forward. So clients would start seeing results between 12 and 16 weeks later, and the relationship could go on for a while. When I showed Dave a model that creates leveraged income, this is what it looked like. He created a 4-month program that took the 8 weeks of teaching and turned it into 8 recorded lessons that parents would only take a few days to go through. As they did the lessons, he was available inside of a private Facebook group every day to answer their questions and help them with parenting situations as they came up. He would host 2 group calls a week for all the parents in his program, and he would serve the entire group on these calls. Parents would learn everything he had to teach in a fraction of the time, receive daily support from him as they turned their families around, and because of all of this, he could sell his program for $3,500, the equivalent of 23 individual sessions with him. It was a win for him. Far fewer clinical hours, more money and more life flexibility and more time with his own kids. And it was a win for the parents he worked with. They had a faster turnaround in their homes and they got more intensive support from him than they could get anywhere else. And the group can be any size you want. If you put 5 people per month into it at $3,500, that's $17,500 in revenue with a maximum of 20 parents in the group. To do that, he probably spent about $5,000 a month on ads, leaving him with $12,500 in profit. If you doubled the size of the group, you could be very comfortably at $35,000 a month in revenue and $25,000 per month in profit. Another client of mine was on a mission to help caregivers with the enormous burden of caring for a sick or dying loved one. The problem was she was limited to her little city of Buffalo, New York, and didn't have a way to get beyond it. So when she found us, she was teaching hours-long workshops in church basements to 4 or 5 people at a time for $15 on a Sunday afternoon. But her material was life-changing. So we helped her to put it into a non-clinical psychoeducational support program that she charged $2,000 for, provided online, and sold all over the country. The same thing happened. Instead of her clients coming to a long workshop, absorbing a couple of things and then going home, which we all know really isn't enough to create change, they have her intensive support for a few months as they organize their lives and learn to be effective as a caregiver. While Darcy no longer longer has to work herself to the bone to stay committed to this niche and have all the income she needs. Now she has all the income she wants and she's running her program in much less time. So you see, leveraged income. They're spending much less time in their therapy practices and they're giving a level of support to a small group of people which is much more intensive. It's a win-win situation that creates leveraged income and helps the therapist to do what they're on this planet to do, but not at the expense of themselves in shitty working conditions, which is what's happening all over the country right now. So once you establish leveraged income, then can you turn it into passive income? Yes, that's the point. Once you are no longer sentenced to working an hour in order to bill an hour, you can establish a model where you live off half the income from your leveraged program and invest the other half into different kinds of investments. This is where the passive income becomes possible because you're investing money you make but don't need to live and into different places that lets that money grow. After a few years, then you have a passive income stream that is building up, and then you can decide what you want to do with it. Maybe you let the value build up and up and up and fund an early retirement. Or maybe you're taking some of that money out every month to upgrade your lifestyle. The choice becomes yours, but it starts with creating a leveraged income model that uses the gifts and talents you have right now to provide an excellent service to your clients while giving you a model that allows you to give you more income and more time flexibility. Focus on these things and work backwards rather than focusing on how you can sip cocktails on a beach and working backwards. And what you'll find is that you create a positive contribution in the world that will give you the money and the lifestyle that you're looking for. Focus on what value you can bring to the table, not what benefits you want to demand from your life, and then your life will give you back the benefits.